We have 11 horses. Most of them have been rescued from one situation or another. 5 dogs, numerous cats, I think 6 or so, 1 bunny, and Norman. Most people raise their cattle for beef or milk, and he raises it for a pet. I was a little surprised that it happened to be a cow that he had wanted his whole life, but a friend contacted him, said there was a cow who was not accepting her calf, and if he wanted it, he could have it.
He was just going to let nature take its course. If the mom accepted him, that was fine. If not, Norm probably would have died out in the field. So I called Kelly and I said, "Do you want a cow?" And of course, with all our other animals, she said, "Oh, sure, why not?" So
What's one more? I told Dave I would take him, but under one condition, that we would never, ever, 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 ever eat him. Because I said, if I fall in love with him and I bottle feed him, I am not going to be able to have you guys slaughter him. So Norman, we joke around that his full name is Norman and his middle name is Never Be On the, and then his last name is Grill. Dave called bringing him and said, honestly, I think it's the cutest baby animal I've ever seen in my life. He was just chocolate colored brown and he was just so cute.
When I first went to the warehouse and saw him, he immediately started following me around. I don't know if it was, you know, the smell or whatever, but he did kind of bond to me immediately. From the day we brought him home, he's just been, I mean, really the sweetest little guy you could ever imagine.
Norm? There's the proud papa.
He's submitting to you.
Oh, Norm.
That's Norm.
Dave, do your moo.
Hi, Norm.
The guy that had been keeping him alive had just been doing, it's like a tube feeding where they put it down in their stomach through their nose. And so we definitely wanted him to learn how to suck a bottle because we didn't want to keep doing that to him. And Grammy, to the rescue, Wilma, Dave's mom, really helped.
Well, when he was small, I did a lot of the bottle feeding because he didn't know what he was doing.
His first bottle feeding.
Oh, Normie.
Boy, he's going for it.
Normie.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
When did you get it?
Well, he's just drooling.
Oh, he says this is good stuff. I just learned a new trick and I think it's pretty good.
He was probably the most spoiled cow ever on the face of the earth. He had his own little private pen inside the shop, heat lamp.
Yeah.
He got bottle fed. He had alfalfa hay. He had grain. He had whatever he wanted.
And straw.
And straw. And
a blanket when he got,
yeah, she had to put a blanket over him if it got really cold. He had our little granddaughter, Sienna, would go out and read to him at night. Sit on the bale of alfalfa, and she would read Norm a bedtime story. And Norm would sit there and just look at her like, okay, wow.
And the 2 dogs, Jax and Rambo, thought they were steers, and he thought he was the dog. So it all worked. It all worked.
The dogs really would kind of initiate playing with Norm. Norm wasn't sure what to do, so he'd kind of buck around, you know, inside the pen. And then once we actually were able to move him outside, I mean, they would run together. Jax would
sleep together.
Jax would lay down with him. You know, if Norm was up, they never nipped at him or anything, but you know, they would, how dogs do, they, you know,
yeah,
come on,
it's
Norm,
like a game
let's
of
go
tag.
play a game of tag, and they'd race around, and I mean, Norm just thought he was one of the dogs. I'd still let him in the house though if he were potty trained.
He would. He truly would. I won't, but he would.
When we feed feed the steers grain, Dewey and Fergie, if they're out and about, will go up and Norm will actually share his grain with
These
Fergie.
dogs, yeah.
And
the horses won't. They stomp.
yeah, horses that stomp them to death. But Norm, I mean, Fergie walks up and starts eating grain, and they got their two heads together. And one time Norm kind of like tried to push him out, and Fergie nipped his nose, and Norm yielded to Fergie. He backed off and was like, "Oh, well, you go ahead, and when you're done, I'll go ahead and finish."
Yeah. Also, I think an interesting story to tell you what a softy, Mr. Tough, Rough, hunter, fisherman, cowboy with Norman, about, I can't think how many weeks old they have to be, but they start getting little horns. And so you have to dehorn them. And there's this, I don't know if it's poison or
It's a caustic paste.
Yeah, it's a paste that you have to put on the horns that takes them away.
Well,
and
you shave around where the horn bud is, put this paste on there, and it literally burns it and kills the horn bud.
yeah.
But we weren't really aware of that. I looked up the paste on YouTube, and we see these guys doing it, and these little cows are just laying there perfectly content. Well, we looked at it later, and clearly they had sedated the cows.
Yes.
And we didn't to Norm.
And he was in his little stall in the shop, our garage, and we put it on him and we were like, oh, he's gonna be fine. And all of a sudden it started burning, and I mean, it must have felt totally on fire on both spots. Well, so he was trying to scratch it, and we thought he's gonna hit it and pull it into his eyes. And so Dave laid down in the stall with him on the straw with his blanket and held his little back legs and laid there with him for like 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Till it's,
I think it was more like 45 minutes, but
we were so sad and felt so horrible, and he was in so much pain. I mean, I'm sure old farmers do it all the time, but not Normie.
we used to, after he got a little bit older and we put him in his outside pasture, we would take the dogs on the walk around the farm, and Norm would go nuts. I mean, he would run back and forth up against the fence. That was the only time he really started mooing.
Yeah, he was throwing a temper tantrum.
He would throw a temper tantrum because he wanted to go with mom and dad and his brothers. And so finally one day I said to Kelly, why don't we bring him?
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what he'll do.
Huh? Oh, wait. Oh, Norman! Be careful, Norman. Okay, you're walking your cow, your steer.
He's a very good healer.
Yes, he is.
It would just make you laugh. I mean, you'd be walking along, and all of a sudden you just have to chuckle that you've got this cow out walking with your 4 dogs loose around a farm.
Those are your friends. Oh, don't touch the fence, Rowdy. Oh, he's peeing and walking. He's peeing and walking.
Norman's first walk without a leash. See if he stays with us.
Come on, Norm.
Come on, Norm.
He's gonna find good ways.
Really, wherever the dogs go, he just follows them around. So
He's very smart that way.
pretty smart that way.
Dave has absolutely fallen in love with his pet cow, and vice versa. For a long time, when Dave would drive in his pickup, Norman would start bawling, wanting the attention of his owner. They bonded very quickly, and it's fun to watch them because it's reciprocated, the love that they have for each other, which we find rather hysterical, but nonetheless, it's been a good thing for both of them. He loves to be scratched and brushed and expects the attention. Most farm animals could care less if you come out and visit with them and so forth. He demands that.
And when he gets, like if you're brushing him or rubbing down, he just starts drooling. Like, oh, that feels so good.
Which sounds so gross, but it's true. Oh, yeah. Life on the farm.
A little cow drool never hurt anybody.
Especially if it's Norman's.
I will tell you this though. Kelly, you know, I've known her forever, but I've never seen her get absolutely like mean or vicious.
Yeah.
And
now clean it up. This is a family show.
There had been a report of out in Gresham or someplace how some cows were getting slaughtered in the middle of the night. There where people were hopping a fence and they'd come in and kill these cows and just take their hindquarters.
Aggravating.
And I told Kelly about that news report, and I mean, all of a sudden she got like real serious. She goes, "I'm just telling you, if anybody ever hurts Norm, I'd fucking kill him."
Dang, I said clean it up!
I was like, I will never hurt Norm. Ever.
Won't be eaten, I'll guarantee you that. He is he's not hamburger.
Your next up, cowboy, climb inside. The bull's in the chute, it's your time to ride. Clown's in place and the judge is too. Suicide rap, now it's him versus you. Nod your head and plant them spurs. The gate swings open and the whole world blurs. One tick off of an 8-second ride. You're spinning in the wheel by the count of 5. It's a whirlwind ride when you're on that bull. It's a whirlwind ride, only few will know. Nothing compares to the thrill. There's nothing that can make time stand still like a whirlwind ride. He spins to the left, so you lean to the right. Throws his head as he jumps up high. Out of that spin, you're sitting just fine. 3 more seconds and you'll make it right. When he drops his head, you drop yours too.